Anybody that you really care about, anybody that you would do anything for.
I live with my father and my stepmother. My mom's been out of my life for a while.
If both grandparents on the other side were to get along with my parents and also my aunts and uncles and stuff, and because right now it's obviously split and it's not really fun, but it's okay. We have each other, my siblings and I, for right now until things get better.
But when I was even younger, actually, my mom would tell me things like when my dad came late at night, I'd be sleeping. He'd come at maybe 12 p.m. or 1 a.m. and I'd wake up just to see him at that time when I was just a little kid, a little baby.
Yes, it's hard. I miss them, but I kind of like to live by myself. So I would go visit them when I have vacation.
It was difficult in a way because my sister and my brother are very similar minded and they tend to argue a lot, and I was the one who had to solve those issues. So I guess I grew up doing that, and I'm pretty good at solving issues between my friends. I have a few friends who called me the amazing Dr. Lloyd instead of Dr. Phil, because I'm able to solve their arguments.
I love my family really much.
I live with my mom. Just her, that's it, just us two.
I live with my mom, dad, dog, sister, my other sister, and me.
I currently live right now with my mom, my dad, my sister, and my grandfather. We're all in the same house in North Bellport. We just take care of everything together. Basically, my parents go to work for the day, and I come to school and I go to work for 4 hours at the end of the day.
I live with my younger brother. He's 19. He's on the autistic spectrum, so it's a really good out of mom's home but not on my own living situation, and we both really enjoy it.
Well, usually how we celebrate birthdays is we'll have barbecue, but it's not like an American style barbecue where you have hamburgers, hot dogs. It's not like that. It's more of we call that carne asada, which is just usually thinner slices of steak, and then you have corn on the grill. You have spring onions. You usually have a tres leches cake, which is a really, really, really moist cake. It's really good. Well, piñata when you're younger, but then as you get older, the piñata kind of goes away. And just really, it's usually a big family thing. I have family in Jersey. They'll come down for birthdays. A lot of any family that's in driving distance, they'll come. Friends, my parents' friends will come. It's usually a whole big thing.
We celebrate by having a joint birthday party, and every year it's a donations-only birthday party. So rather than them receiving gifts, we ask all of their friends to come and bring donations for 2 charities of the children's choice. So we sort of celebrate by not celebrating, they don't get laden with a lot of gifts. We're not celebrating just the fact that they happen to have been born. That's not really an accomplishment on their part. But what they do is we celebrate by thinking about others, right, who are less fortunate and giving to them.
We usually give me some fun and let me open some presents and gives me some help. And on my 3-year-old birthday, I had loads of fun. I got to go in the swimming pool and practice to swim, but I kept sinking.
It depends on how old you're gonna be. Usually with my family, if you're getting to the point of around 13, it's your last birthday. All you really do is you get cake at the end of it, but it's pretty funny when you're younger because you get spoiled a lot. Some kids get to go to Chuck E. Cheese or some go to Dave & Buster's. Others get to go shopping sprees with the family and everything.
In my family, we usually do is like just little small thing. We might go have dinner at the end of the day. We not do like a big thing, and we not actually eat cake because none of us like to eat sweets. So we just go have dinner. We enjoy that more than anything.
Bueno, mi familia celebra los cumpleaños. Como somos una familia de pocos miembros, lo celebramos generalmente reuniéndonos y comiendo un pastel, dando algunos presentes a la otra persona. No es una cosa muy grande, por lo que te digo que la familia es de pocos miembros.
The usual way, cake, presents. You know, we tell the story of the day you were born to the kids. Those are all fun and interesting, and that's sort of like what my mom always did with me, so it's something we do in our family too.
We don't. No, well, I guess on my father, because we're Muslims, on my mother's side, and we don't celebrate any of that except Ramadan. So my father celebrates my birthday, he gives me presents, but we don't really celebrate like that, go out to eat and have parties. But yeah.
Well, most of the family gathers around. We have like this, okay, there's a cake, it has candles on it. We all eat the cake. There are candles on it, and we sing this song called Happy Birthday.
We usually celebrate every birthday, but just like the small party, just a cake, like a warm time, a special meal, and that's all, yeah.
Well, we usually just have a home party with my family and a few of our friends. It's not like it's big, it can be big, but we sometimes have small parties. It's never like at a different building or anything, it's just like a stay-home party.
Never at a different building? What is that?
Well, it means like it's not at like Air Trampoline or Chuck E. Cheese's. It's not like at a celebration birthday place.
Would you rather have it at a celebration birthday location?
It would be nice to do that time to time, but my parents like to go with a traditional stay-at-home birthday party.
We celebrate by having other friends and family come over to our house, or we go to their house and celebrate, basically making the traditional foods or meals. Always seem to have like appetizers and things first with cocktails, and then we go into the meal, and we make it a day event.
Thanksgiving and stuff, family from down south comes up. Everyone mostly comes to our house, and we just talk and conversate, stuff like that, have dinner. And Christmas they come up too, so everyone just comes to our house.
We get together in my grandmother's house. She lives right across the street, and my aunt lives down the street, so we're pretty close. We go to my grandmother's house. We have Thanksgiving there, Christmas, New Year's. We have everyone from the city to Denver, and we have people from Puerto Rico come by because everybody's just so close. Mostly we just spend it all together, just making sure we keep connections with each other because, you know, family is kind of important nowadays. It's the only thing you can really trust.
We celebrated, I think it was last year or the year before, we couldn't get everybody together in the same place on Thanksgiving, so we picked a day in the calendar that was like another holiday. I think it was Albanian Alphabet Day or something, and we celebrated that, and that was fun.
We usually do what we are supposed to do, and on the holidays, like on Thanksgiving, we have the big feast, and Christmas, open presents, and on Veterans Day, we thank all of those who died for our country, and do all sorts of stuff.
I guess one of the family traditions, I don't know, or an activity would be usually when we're in Ireland, we go on a hike with everyone through a mountain trail. And we go and we just go on this hike, we look at the waterfalls and things, and we talk. And it's just something we usually do every year. Kind of feels weird when we don't do it.
We do on New Year, we kill a pig and make a big celebration there in Colombia, of course.
And why do you do that?
I don't know, maybe tradition for the whole family, from my grandma, my grandpa.
Okay, let's see. Once a year, in the fall, my family and I, we all get together and we head upstate to New Paltz and we go apple picking and take a hayride, do small family things like that together.
I have now passed the torch to Adam, my son, for him to make the turkey. He does a much better job than we do. In fact, he cooks most all the food, and this time they're going to have it at our house versus having it at his house. But usually it's a whole day thing. Like, he'll spend the whole weekend with us. The whole family will spend the whole week with us. We'll play with the grandchildren. If it's nice out, we'll take walks. We'll usually do that. Usually we'll have other guests or friends come over and celebrate with us. And basically, that's what we do. Watch the parade. The parade will be on probably. And maybe one of the football games will be on for Thanksgiving. But that's basically what we do, the traditional things that I guess I've been doing, or we've been doing for all our lives. And I learned it from my parents.
Well, we do an activity like hugging.
Well, there's this ride, the Rock and Roller Coaster. It's probably one of the most famous ones, I guess, in Disneyland. It's supposed to be really good. It's supposed to be. Never rode it. I waited 2.5 hours on a line when I was 8, and I really had to go to the bathroom. So my dad, we had to jump off the line. My dad was so pissed off at me for the rest of the trip. Everybody was giving me stuff for it, like my mom, my dad, my sister.
I had a very impoverished childhood. I grew up in an abusive household. So the striking family memories I have are ones that aren't pleasant for me to reflect on. I was pulled out of my house at age 15 by Department of Social Services because it was a very abusive environment. So I've lived on my own since that time. So my memories of things like birthdays and holidays as a child are not, you know, I mean, they're not anything like special or like warm, friendly memories that I often think about. In fact, for a long time, I tried actively to forget about and not think about that stuff. It's only recently that I've started thinking about them again, mostly because now I have kids and I think about them, right? And so what I experience and what they experience, making sure that they're two very, very different things.
My sister's sweet 15. Everyone was there, and not just like my mom and dad, but like everyone, uncles and everyone like that, friends, and just seeing everyone smile. And that was like one of the first few times I saw my mom cry, because I don't know, it was just a special moment. And usually my dad is all like happy and joyful, but at that moment, that time, that he was really like just quiet, which was strange.
Well, I had an uncle that lived with us, and at the end of the day, he really wasn't my uncle. He was more like my mother's godfather, but he was just very, very, he was like a second grandfather to me. He was actually more of a grandfather to me than my own grandfather. He would go to Italy fairly frequently. Now, he wasn't from Molfetta, he was from Sicily. So he would go to Sicily maybe 2 or 3 times a year. And I can remember as a child, we definitely got dressed up to go to JFK to go pick him up. You know, this was a big thing. And his suitcase always had the most fantastic treasures. He would always bring me and my brother gifts. And, you know, like, so we would come home and we would eat. And then after dinner, we would all go into the living room, and he would open up his suitcases, and out would come shoes and handbags and jewelry, and for me and my brother, toys. And it was wonderful. It was like Christmas. It was fantastic.
Probably before I met my stepfamily, the other side, it was just me, my dad, and my brother, and we went off to the Great Wolf Lodge. It's like a big hotel, like indoor water park and all that. And I'd say that probably brought the 3 of us like the closest together that we've ever been. And
I don't know, just the best memory I had with them was just we were hanging out together, all three of us in the room. We were just able to connect well.
When I went to Gathering of Nations with my dad, and I had to babysit all night, but he had a great time. And it was just a big experience for me. The memory that I remember the most, it's sad, but I remember that when I was little, it was the first Christmas without my grandmother. And it was like 2 months after my grandmother died. And in our tradition, we have a special dinner for Christmas Eve. And in the table, we set one extra set with tables and food for unexpected guests, but this time we prepared like for my grandmother.
I think the ones that were most vivid to me is like when we have another son and he's away, so he lives in Chicago. So it's nice when he visits at that time as well, and they become then we have like the whole family. Sometimes the in-laws come and with respect to his family, and those are really vivid because we're opening presents before, in the morning before we have breakfast, and then we have our traditional breakfast foods that we have. Sometimes we'll have bacon and eggs. We like bagels and lox and whitefish. My wife is Jewish, so she was raised in a Jewish family, and so a lot of different kinds of foods that way are made as well.
Back then, when I used to live in Manhattan, one thing we'd always used to do was go to Central Park on every Sunday, because that's the day my dad would have his day off. And but back then it was only me, my mother, and my one sister who was 17. And yeah, we just played games around there, Central Park, and we just have fun.
A few years ago, we took this amazing vacation to Turks and Caicos, and I created a treasure hunt for my little sister. And it started off with just my mom and I and my little sister, starting the treasure hunt, and the whole family was with us, and they were off doing their own things. But as we were walking through doing the treasure hunt, the family members just started gathering, and by the end, the entire family was following this 4-year-old who was so excited to be on this really easy treasure hunt. It was just really fun.
When I was younger, my dad we had a wagon for the 3 of us. It was just me, my brother and sister as the triplets. My dad had a wagon, and he would take us from our house to the park, which wasn't really far, but he would take us to the park for a while so my mom could clean or do anything around the house, and he ended up getting the newspaper or something for it. But he used to take us there all the time, and he'd make jokes and stuff on the way there and while we were there. They had this big almost thing that you could climb on. He'd always sit at the top of it and watch us play wherever, because I guess it was the best. And we saw everything there from that spot, so.
I mean, my oldest memory that I have, it was when I was 5, and we were in Rockland at the old house with my biological father. Him and his family had this huge Victorian house, and it was beautiful. My mom, we painted it and did it from the inside and out. And the only memory I have is the last fight my mom and my biological father had, and I just remember what it looks like when somebody's jaw is broken and being thrown against the wall by my dad. So that's the earliest memory I have of family, which is a nice yeah. That's the earliest memory I have. I don't remember anything before that. And everything after that was just oh, now we got kicked out of our house. Now we have to find a really shitty apartment to live where mom constantly is getting harassed by the landlord. This is great.
Family it's one of those important things you need. Those are the people that are there to support you, no matter what. I guess some close friends can become more like family because they're always there for you, they got your back. And it's like those like family is like those people that no matter what you do will support you and will be there for you like to the end. And I guess that's what family means to me.
Trust, the love that we give to each other, the compassion that we show, the understanding that you're not alone in this world, you have us, or we're there for each other. You know, some hi, hey, see ya, and bye. Because I have cousins like that, other family members who I see like once or twice.
How do you define family? What does family mean to you?
People that you live with, people that you love, and people that that are part of your family that you can be friends with. Your loved ones, or probably people that you love and people that they love, and so on.
Family is not just parents and kids. I think it's more than people who spend time with you or all together and caring about you, about your heart, if you are good, if you need something. I think that's family.
Para mí, en lo que tengo de experiencia, y sí, pues sí, como les digo, mi familia no es muy grande, entonces no hemos estado como siempre así juntos, muy unidos, pero en el momento en que alguna persona llegue a necesitar algo, uno sabe que ahí está la familia, sabe que ellos lo van a ayudar, lo van a acoger y van a tratar de hacer lo necesario para que uno supere la situación difícil que está pasando.
My family meaning is not just like a parents and the children. For me, is the person who might be your friend, and they're like sharing and caring to each other. The person who always be there for me. That's always like the family for me.
To me, family means always being connected. Always, as like, when I say connection, I don't mean always knowing where they are and everything, just feeling connected, like knowing about them and everything. Knowing what they're feeling at the time.
Family to me is something that I have never defined by blood relations. Largely because of my own tormented background in childhood. So the people who are closest to me are my girlfriends from graduate school. I have 3 best friends from graduate school who have functioned much, much more like family to me than anybody else on the planet. So family to me are the people who you feel closest to and who you know will be there for you during rough times or good times, celebrate with you in good times, and that you feel very close to and love and trust in all of those ways, but not necessarily defined by blood relations.
I personally see family as just blood. Nothing, you can make it into more, but the way that I view family is it's just genetics. It's just like we have the same genes. There's nothing more, nothing less. But I think that your friends, I don't see them as family. Even if like really good friends that like you're like almost like siblings, I think that's your friend. And like you can have that friendship with your parents, but for me, family is just blood.
Love, unconditional love for each other, you know. Unity. Growing together. Being there for one another through all the hard and good times. Making great memories and just sharing them together.
My mother died when I was 10, so I went to live with my father, who I met because my mother died, but so I haven't really experienced that at full, you know, pretty much haven't. I have to learn to live by myself, defend myself and all, but like I will always try to look after my sister and my brothers because I feel like that's my duty. You know, so my concept of a family is to always look after the ones that you can protect, you know, that depend on you.
Well, family is your best friends, your blood. You take care of your family. If your family needs anything, you drop what you're doing, you go help them. It's not just like people with blood though, like friends can be family too. Just anybody that you really care about, anybody that you would do anything for, I consider family.
I think family means to me people that you care for beyond the regular boundaries. It's you don't even necessarily think about the love that you have for them. It's just automatically there, and you know that they will always be there for you, and you'll always be there for them, even if it's not physically there. They will always somehow support you however they can.
My family is everything for me. For me, family means that no one left behind or forgotten, and always stay together.
Support, care, you know, people you could trust. I'm lucky enough to have a family that cares so much and is so close that no matter what happens, they're there.
Since I'm an only child, I mean, I do everything for my parents. When they ask me to do stuff, I just do it. Because like they're the ones that have been supporting me. They're the ones that brought me into their house, so I respect them every day, and I do anything. And you know, every time, you know, one of my parents, you know, gets home from work, I always, you know, tell them I love them because they mean a lot to me, and I hope I mean a lot to them.